Yo! As you can see, my board has changed. It keeps falling down and it's driving me mad. So I've moved other posters here so it's not empty. Like, everything falls down and blue tack is rubbish. Hello, baby! It's Pikachu. So, sorry about that. Obviously, I'm going to keep the background. I don't know if I'll put it back or if I'll just keep it somewhere safe. I don't know, but that's why your tweets aren't here. Hello, gorgeous. Come here. Come here. Say hello. No? Okay, you want to walk on the piano? I turn it on and see what he does. What's that noise, Pikachu? What's going on, Pikachu? He likes to walk on it, but he's not sure about the noise. Anyway, as you can probably tell from the title of the video, I don't do the pointing thing anymore. As you can tell, I'm talking about race and preference because stuff happened with Tyler Oakley and I got all salty and went on a little social justice warrior rant. And many other people did. Other people were debating about it and there was lots of craziness going on, so I thought I'd talk about that kind of thing here. So I kind of expressed my opinion online in tweet form, which is a bit like, you know, the tweets then get old and get lost and stuff, so I wanted to express my opinion on here, because fuck off! Because that is a more permanent way and, you know, I have more than 140 characters and I can express myself a bit better. So Tyler Oakley tweeted stating that if you have a preference of who you do and who you will and won't date, and it has to do with their race, like, oh, no black people, no Asians, whatever, that is racist. It's not just a preference, it's racist because you are discriminating on their race. And some people were completely furious and were like, you, Tyler Oakley, are gay, so you're discriminating against women and all this bullshit. Fuck off, Dan and Phil. And it was ridiculous, so I wanted to have a little talk about preferences and rules. All I can hear is my mum going, you're a very funny boy, to the cat. I don't know what he's done. So, as I said this on Twitter already, but a preference is when you prefer something. So that's like someone being like, I slightly prefer blondes. I like guys with tattoos. I like people who enjoy novels. I like people who are into rock music. That's a preference. You prefer one thing, but you're not completely disgusted by if the person didn't have tattoos, for example. I prefer people with tattoos, but if they didn't have tattoos, I wouldn't be repulsed by the idea of dating them. I could still fall in love with them, or whatever, or have feelings for them. It's just they wouldn't necessarily meet every preference of mine. Everyone has a few preferences if they are allosexual, if they can be attracted to people, whatever. Then they'll probably have some preferences. If you realise, oh, you know what, I've noticed I usually go for white people. That's something that usually happens. That's, I guess, a preference of mine. That's a preference. If you start noticing that you usually go for this way of looking, but if they didn't meet those standards, you wouldn't hate them, you could still fall in love with them, whatever. It's not a rule. A rule is no fat chicks, no Asian guys, no black guys, no black women, whatever. That is a rule. There's a difference between a preference, I prefer this, to a rule, no. If you're a vegetarian, for example, this isn't to do with dating obviously, just another preference thing. If you're a vegetarian or a vegan, your rule is that you don't eat meat, and there's a reason for that. It's probably like a moral reason, and it's because you want to care for the animals, and that's a rule. If you're like, I prefer vegetables to bacon, that's not a rule, it's a preference. Those things are completely different. And everyone has preferences, but if you are making a rule that you would not date a certain race of people, and that includes people of colour, it is racism. If it involves white people, then that's, I don't know, you might have some problem with white people for whatever, there might be some form of prejudice there. I'm not going to go into the whole reverse racism argument because I've done that yesterday. I've had all those angry white people on my mentions and fuck it, I'm not going to go into that, but obviously that's different. However, a preference is not a rule, and if you're ruling out people based on their race, it is racism. That's just a fact. That's not like, oh, a YouTuber promoting his opinion. That's just how it is. They need to invent an alternative for Blu Tack, I swear to God. Dragon's Den. Better adhesive things. So that's where we are. And I just wanted to speak on that, and I did mention weight as well. Like, for example, when guys are like, no fat chicks, or if a woman felt that about a man or whatever, that's not a preference, it's a rule. If you say, I'm normally attracted to slimmer people, that's just how it is. You probably can't help that. You may even still fall in love with someone who's overweight because it's not a rule. If you're ruling out a group of people because of race, size, nationality, whatever, stupid shit like that, that's a rule, and you probably have some kind of problem with that group of people if you're stating that you'll never be attracted to them or date them. When it comes to being gay, that's not a choice. You cannot say, well, you're gay, so you're discriminating against women, or you're a lesbian, you're discriminating against men, or whatever. That doesn't make sense, because sexuality is not a choice. Preference isn't necessarily a choice either, but making a rule is a choice. I have preferences, but I've never made a rule that I would never date someone unless they were white, or unless they were black, or unless they were over 6 foot, or unless they had a pierced eyebrow. Making rules is a choice. Having a preference is not a choice, and having a sexual orientation is not a choice either. So stop getting them confused. Stop saying, oh, well, your being gay isn't a choice, but neither is my preference. Your preference isn't a choice, but your rule is. Stop ruling out and deciding an entire race of people is less attractive than another entire race of people. Very pale white people can be very attractive. Very dark-skinned black people can also be very attractive. Asian people with completely Asian features who don't look slightly mixed, westernized, whatever, are also completely attractive and gorgeous. There's no one race that's completely less attractive than another race, and that obviously goes for like light-skinned black people, more like mixed race, westernized looking Asian people, whatever. The only reason I said the extremes is because the extremes is what people can be against, like, oh, no dark-skinned girls, or that person looks too Asian. There's no such thing. There are attractive people everywhere, and even if you're not attractive by society's conventions, you can still be attractive in your own way. Don't let anyone tell you that because of your race, you are less attractive than somebody else. That's all for now, guys. That was just a very quick rant, so hopefully I'll have a bit more organised videos on here soon. I need to sort this out. We have been Amy and Pikachu. I hope you have a lovely evening.